This little boy is 7 years old. Someone that I see on a regular basis. I'm actually out here with these kids regularly. I just saw him less than 2 hours ago right outside my office. Just had his hair done for school. Like, man, he's supposed to start school right down the street tomorrow. And some person has taken him away from doing that right in front of his sisters, who are never gonna forget about that. They got blood on their hands, on their face, from somebody that they with on a regular basis, being in their own damn yard. You know, and we want to talk about optics and how St. Louis would look if we had extra hands. We need everything we can get, man. This ain't right. It's not. This is a little baby. So, I mean, if anything, when things like this happen, you know, all you can think of is what's next. I mean, realistically, we can talk about plans all day long, but while we trying to figure this out, we got kids dying, like dying. We got people shooting up the damn city. We can't figure out who it is. Well, I mean, sometimes it really ain't much that you can say. You know, there ain't no good words for a terrible situation. Sometimes we've been seeing plenty of kids being hit this summer, plenty of them, more than enough. What else can be said about all this? What else can we say? Everybody is sick of talking. We want something done. We want to do something. This can't continue to be something that's a normality for us, for these kids to have to go back to school wondering who's not gonna be there when they get back because a bunch of people got shot over the summertime. Like, this ain't right. And it's not okay for us as a community to sit back and harbor criminals, man. Those individuals that's doing this, we know who it is. We need to flush him out of his house. Flush him out. Give us to him. I'm sorry, give him to us. Give that man to us. We need to start doing what we need to do as a community, to take back our own streets, to take back our hoods. Get his out your house and give him to us.
I know Chief Hayden says a lot that you know, they struggle sometimes with people participating with the investigation, and that prohibits them from getting more information and finding people. What would be your message to this community, kind of to what you're just saying, of coming forward with if you have information?
Sometimes we got to show up in troves. We all give out the information. They can't kill us all. We all hear the whispers. If 50 people come forward, they're not going to shoot 50 people. We armed too. I mean, and that's just how things got to be. We have to get to where, I mean, we got to take care of our own neighborhoods. If we don't step up and we continue to just beg the police to do a job that we supposed to be responsible for ensuring our neighborhoods are safe, they do law and order. We supposed to pursue make sure that our neighborhoods are safe. We got to do something about it. We can't let these these people run around here and do whatever the hell they want, and we just sit in the house and look out the window. The hell with that, man. We got to come out in the streets. We got to hit the pavement.
You're talking about, yeah, it seems like that's been kind of a theme of action. It's enough talk. You know, from a city standpoint, you know, with you being part of the Board of Aldermen, like, what action would you like to see the city take now?
Well, number one, they're talking about right now, there's some drone surveillance that we can get throughout the city, and it would surveil all 66 miles of the city of St. Louis. That would be ideal for us. If we can't get a hold on it ourselves, at least we got an eye in the sky, and you never know what is watching. If we can close half these cases and create a new environment where people that are shooting up the city understand we will catch you, that's what has to happen. People have to know you can't shoot in the city and get away with it just because you got a fast car. The hell with that. Like, we need to be trying everything. Technology exists. We need to be putting our heads together, spending the little money that we do have on trying to secure the people that's still left around here. Like, you know, so as a board member, that's something that I support. I support curfews. I support anything that's going to ensure that we actually are moving some type of way that's a progressive direction and we can measure the outcome and stuff. Right now, we can't measure nothing. We don't know what we're doing. We're just trying to figure it all out, and that's ridiculous. And I'm not talking bad about the chief or the public safety director or Leiter themselves. I'm talking about us as a city. Everybody has a role to play, and everybody not playing their role. You elect a few people and say, get out there and do it. We all are accountable for what's going on in this city. Every single one of us. I don't care if you black or white. I don't care if you live in a place where things like this never happen. We all have a role to play. There are things that we all can and should be doing. And me in my official capacity, I'll help control your tax dollars. So when we throw things out there as an idea, either get behind it or figure something out that's better. but we got to start doing more than we're saying.
Absolutely. I know actually the last time you and I talked about the potential or need for the National Guard. Do you still think that that's something on the table that should be considered?
I'm going to think anything that we can possibly get for help would help out our city. We need reinforcements. The police need help. I don't care who says they don't. The police need help. They can't do it all by themselves, but we have to create a new atmosphere at the same time. Like, there has to be something where people understand what I did yesterday, I can't do today, as an immediate reaction, as an immediate halt to what's going on. Of course, we can implement programs and a gang of other things all day long. But if we're not trying to do something about the now, then we'll continue to be utilizing our resources for what's going on right now. We won't get to that place in the future because we'll have to double use our resources. We have to think about how to put a halt to these things, and whatever it is that we're trying to implement it while we are putting a hold to it. So, it's just like a sinking boat. You got to plug the holes before you continue to row forward. We have to plug our holes. We're trying to look forward into the future. We're thinking about this great island that we can get to or become, but we're sinking while we're trying to get there. St. Louis has to plug its holes up. We have to put an immediate stop to our own sink. Like, this thing is happening right now in front of our eyes, and we just, we're watching it. We have to become a united force in this city, and it's time for us to fight back. We have to figure out a way to do that.
And then you said it yourself, you knew the 7-year-old victim really well. Tell us some about his personality, what we've lost as a community now that he's gone.
That little boy he had an amazing spirit. You got those kids that when you see them coming down the street, they're just glowing. They run to you, give you a hug, say, "What's up, how you doing?" They're anxious to have a conversation with you. That's the type of young man that was. He could have been anything. He could have been our next mayor. He could have been the next damn president. He had an amazing spirit. And he sat up in our office, in the office next door all day. He liked to read. He used to be on a computer. Very inquisitive young man. Like, he was intelligent. So, to just see him today sitting outside, that we're outside coloring black activists, sitting in front of the porch, and, to have this happen just a few hours later, man, we taking our kids away, man. Like, he didn't know what he was going to do with his life at 7 years old, but he had the potential to become anything. He could have been anything and anybody, and that's lost. He can't do anything right now. And for 9 times out of 10, nothing. Not a thing.
What do you say to parents that live here that, you still want your kids to, be active and be out and meeting the neighbors, but when stuff like this happens, what's your message to parents here in the neighborhood?
When you see something weird, you see a different car, something extra, you need to write it down. Like, we need to start being active, and then we share that information throughout the community. If you see a red car with such and such license plates, let us know. We need to start tagging these individuals, knowing where they are as a community. It's more of us than it is them, period. And if we got to flush them out to get them the hell out of our neighborhood, then that's what we need to do. We need to flush they out. But the only way for us to do that is we got to be united in our front. We can't point the finger at one person and not back them up when they're willing to tell. When we know who it is, when we know that there are deals going on and people that are regularly outside of your house or on your corner doing this, you need to let that information be known to the neighborhood. We start a chain message. We need to start getting this information so we can know who to watch out for and who the hell we need to get rid of. That's how we get ourselves to a particular place where everybody working together. You ain't got to be afraid of your own shadow or no damn body else's. All of this is bull. And like this ain't, we can do something about every bit of this. This ain't nobody else's problem but ours.
Anything else you want to say that we haven't touched on yet, Brandon?
7 years old. We've had over 10 kids killed this summer in the last few months. School ain't been out 6 months or 7 months. None of these kids will never get back. They don't know what it's gonna feel like to get an A in the next grade or to get to that next level in life. We got kids dying. What are you willing to do, St. Louis? What are you willing to sacrifice? So this is not the norm. So this is not something that we see on a regular basis as being something that happens in St. Louis and we just willy-nilly about it. We deal with it. We okay with it because that's what it sends a message out to the rest of the world. We okay with these things happening when we don't get out here and tear the city up for stuff like this. And I don't mean break windows and tear down buildings that had nothing to do with you, but I mean look in every household, knock on every door, really talk to our folks and find out who saw what and catch these fools. Sometimes you gotta take things into your own hands, and I'm not trying to incite violence, but as a community, man, we gotta step it up.